About 3 months ago, I received an email from one of my health coaching clients that she had bought Ozempic from a friend who stopped using it, and she was now using this off-label, essentially black market Ozempic without a doctor's oversight. Of course, I told her right away to stop and go see a doctor, and I thought this was a one-off case. But as the months have gone on, and as the public popularity and publicity around these weight loss drugs has just boomed, I'm now getting inbound emails all the time, and I'm convinced we're on the cusp of a weight loss drug crisis. This video is meant as a public service announcement. I think there's big troubles ahead. Here's what a lot of people don't realize. In the US right now, 2/3 of the population is overweight, and 1/3 of the population is obese. And when surveyed during a Yale University research project, over 4,000 people were surveyed, and 46% of respondents said they'd give up 1 year of their life to never be obese, and 15% said they'd give up a full 10 years of their life to never be obese. And there's a whole bunch of other really depressing stats as well, which basically goes to show you that people are so motivated to lose weight, so disenfranchised with all of the different offerings from public and private healthcare providers that they'll do whatever it takes. I couldn't really figure out how this was happening. Could this really become a big problem? Could off-label use of these weight loss drugs actually happen when they're hard to get, expensive, and most people don't qualify? To determine how easy it is to get this stuff on the black market, on a random Sunday evening, I went on Instagram, couple of clicks. Within 2.5 minutes, I'd found a drug dealer who had Wegovy for about $300 per month. The dosing's a little different for different people. And Ozempic for about $250 for roughly a month's supply. This is about 1/4 the cost from a pharmacy, and he was ready to deliver immediately. Keep in mind, these are the same drug dealers that sell MDMA and cocaine, amphetamines, Xanax, Ritalin, Adderall. The reason this is relevant is because these party drug suppliers have now added weight loss drugs to their portfolio. This is a sign of really bad things to come. I spent another 10 minutes that same night on Google, and to complicate things even more, I found 3 different compounding pharmacies in different countries, 3 different countries, that would sell roughly, again, about a 1-month supply of the peptide version of semaglutide for around $100. So you go for something that is around $800 to $1,000 per month through your doctor, through a pharmacy, very difficult to get. You might not even qualify, might not even be available, to something that's available for about 1/4 of that price from a local drug dealer, to something that's available for about 10% of that cost from a compounding pharmacy, not intended for human use, but obviously people are using it. And suddenly what I think we have is a recipe for a real disaster. If you look back on the past couple of decades, the big drug crises have always started with the pharmaceutical industry. If you look at the opioid crisis, for example, with OxyContin, first introduced through pharmaceutical and medical doctors, that then set the stage for the fentanyl crisis that we're in right now, I'm convinced that the exact same thing is going to happen with the Ozempic and Wegovy popularization that's happening as we speak. Every single person watching this video knows someone who's using semaglutide compounds to lose a whole bunch of weight. If you don't know someone personally, you've certainly seen Elon Musk or Amy Schumer or Charles Barkley or Oprah Winfrey, somebody who's lost a whole bunch of weight, very, very public figures. Leaders of state, leaders of companies, the person next door, someone in your family. And on the one hand, this is really exciting. The obesity epidemic is arguably the worst health crisis in the world. It contributes or causes just about everything else. And the public and private interventions to date have been really, really poor at best. This class of drugs is pretty consistently delivering about a 15% reduction in total body weight. This is exciting. It's also terrifying. What happens long term? How do you pay for this? What are the side effects? Can you take this for more than a year? No one really knows. Another big complication is the expense. This stuff is crazy expensive, and insurance maybe will pay, eventually will stop. Who's going to foot the bill? My hypothesis is that these weight loss drugs, this class of drugs, has already entered the zeitgeist, and there's no going back. The train has left the station. These things are very easy to create and compound, and I think that these brand names like Wegovy and Ozempic, I think they've already lost control, and they'll lose control even more. What this means is that the off-label use of these drugs is very likely to spread all over the world within the next 1 to 3 years, and we'll have a huge, huge problem. Now, what does that mean? What that means is people are going to order things that look like this, little vials of powder from compounding pharmacies. They're going to order insulin needles like this, which you can buy. Neither of these need prescription or license, and they're gray market. It's not sold for human use, but people can buy them and they're going to start injecting themselves. Now, why is this a big problem? Will there be staph infections and fungal infections? For sure. Will people reuse needles and share needles? Yeah, that'll happen. Will people store their peptides poorly and get all of that stuff will happen. But the bigger problem, at least what I see, is a mental health crisis. I was a teenager in the 1990s, and this was the height of eating disorders when it comes to anorexia and bulimia. Many people are unaware, but the most dangerous mental health problem are eating disorders, meaning they lead to death. That's death by suicide, and also just all-cause mortality goes through the roof. Many times people are hospitalized and they just pass away. More dangerous than depression, more dangerous than anxiety. And fortunately, the campaigns of the 1990s very much squelched this movement. I'm worried that it's coming back and coming back with vengeance because these drugs are so effective. So what does something like semaglutide do? Well, what it does is it boosts your body's production of insulin. It increases your body's insulin sensitivity, and it also slows your stomach emptying. It's a big fancy talk for your body manages sugar a lot better, and you're just way less hungry. People also have vomiting and diarrhea and nausea and a whole bunch of side effects. But any psychological study of weight loss motivation shows that people will do pretty much anything to lose weight, regardless of dangers, regardless of risk factors. The group of people I'm most concerned about are the group of people that are 15 to 24 years old, so teenagers and young adults. And I think it's very, very likely that there will be off-label use, abuse, and the psychological damage of this can be a really, really big problem. Please understand, I am not against this category of drugs. It's quite possible that these are a huge part of the solution to the obesity epidemic, but off-label use of prescription drugs, off-label use of drugs when people don't need them, which is what I predict is coming next, is a huge and growing problem, and I think this is something you need to be aware of. So with all that said, what do you do? Firstly, if someone in your life, a friend, a relative, a colleague, is losing weight fast, like so fast it's unbelievable, you can assume that they're using Wegovy, Ozempic, or semaglutide peptides, and you should really encourage them to get medical care. Even if someone's using black market or gray market compounds, please know it's not illegal at all to get medical care. They should go see a doctor. Make sure that their health is doing okay. Rapid weight loss in and of itself is quite dangerous. Rapid weight loss assisted by pharmaceuticals without supervision is really, really dangerous. Keep in mind that a lot of people using these compounds actually don't need to lose weight. Their BMI, their body weight is actually healthy. They have body dysmorphia and they're chasing totally unrealistic body images. And in that case, the most important thing is to get some psychological help. Keep in mind, I'm not a medical doctor, I am not a therapist, but people come to me with medical and psychological questions all the time. So this is what I do. I refer people out whenever possible, and I would encourage you to do the same. In the same way that fentanyl awareness has been really, really important in schools and universities and workplaces all around the world, I think there's really a need for awareness about this new class of drugs, which is almost certainly going to have widespread abuse very soon. Thanks so much for your interest. If you'd like more science-based health and wellness videos, hit subscribe down below. I'm going to list some resources for mental health as well as safety and efficacy and medical contact information for the various countries down below in the description. If you have any experiences with semaglutide, either prescription, black market, or gray market, love to hear from you down below. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you find that helpful.